I'm going to say something good about what fell out of the ceiling. Here, this is a flight from Amsterdam to Detroit. And a woman is sitting there, and I'll let the guys from Fox Detroit.
Philip's shot looked across the aisle. Seemed like a prank. Wiggly maggots like these falling from the overhead bin.
I don't really know what was going through my mind. I was trying to process it. Disgust is one thing, of course.
Philip on board Delta Airlines Flight 133, Amsterdam to Detroit. He says he saw at least a dozen fall on the poor woman next to him, then more.
You push the call button. You gotta then wait because you're about to take off.
And we had to wait there for help to actually come.
He slithered into...
Oh, see, right there. I wouldn't have done that. I want to get out of there. I want to get home. I don't want him to delay. You see it fall. The maggots are falling on the person next to you. You know now there's going to be a delay. You're like, oh, my God. Suppose you have a connection or something, right? She's screaming. Flight attendant comes by. Nope, nothing, no problem. Just, let's go. Let's take off. Let's get going.
While it's raining maggots.
Raining maggots.
I mean,
it wasn't raining. There was like he said a few. It wasn't like she was covered in them. But we'll continue. Shari, if you really wanted to get home to Detroit from the Netherlands, would you two have also complained? Because now it's going to be like an hour delay. Maybe they got to change flights, maybe a new plane. Just tell the lady next to you, you know what, grin and bear it for the rest of us.
If it were that close to me, of course I would complain. That's gross. And you don't know how many maggots. The culprit was a rotting fish in a guy's luggage, overhead luggage, that he had wrapped in newspaper. So I don't know how quickly maggots multiply, but you never know. By the end of the flight, that's a long flight. There could be thousands of them.
Wiggly maggots like these falling from the overhead bin.
I don't really know what was going through my mind. I was trying to process it. Disgust is one thing, of course.
Philip on board Delta Airlines Flight 133, Amsterdam to Detroit. He says he saw at least a dozen fall on the poor woman next to him, then more.
You push the call button. You gotta then wait because you're about to take off.
And we had to wait there for help to actually come.
He slithered into another seat to get away. When help came, the flight attendants tracked the insects to a passenger's bag in the overhead bin.
They found out that there was a rotten fish in there.
The fish wrapped in a newspaper, and the guy who put it there stood up and actually claimed it.
But I did see everyone's reaction to the bag being opened, which was just an immediate pinching of the nose.
They took the not-so-precious cargo to the back of the plane, then a message from the pilot.
So gross.
The people in the back, take it to the back of the plane. I mean, it's bad enough you're in the back, right? No, don't take it up to first class. Not for those of you. Take it to the back. People way in the back, next to the toilets. Take it back
now
there.
We're into the flight.
The pilot notified the plane of what was going on and made the call to turn the plane around.
Back to Amsterdam. Philip says he didn't see the fish maggot guy get detained or anything. Philip got on another flight back to the States a few hours later, more than happy to get off that flight.
Beyond the grossness of it, how in the heck did a rotting fish get through security?
I am surprised that both a rotten fish and live maggots were not picked up on the security scan.
Delta releasing a statement to us apologizing to those passengers. They say they pulled that aircraft for cleaning. I sure hope so. Reporting from Detroit Metro Airport, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
Yeah, you're up there flying at 16,000 feet. You wish the door would fly off so you could throw the fish out, right?
Well, stand by for the lawsuits. The trauma of maggots. I mean, it is gross. It's horrible. And what's he doing with that fish? I don't blame security for not pointing it out. I don't think they have, like X-ray fish machines. Or maggot detectable, radiography or whatever. Well, I don't think that.
Well, when that person would come into customs, they say, do you have anything you purchased? Are you carrying any fruits, vegetables, any food at all? Guy would be like, oh, I got this maggot-infested fish. Sure, I'd like you to listen, and I'll say something positive about maggots. But first, why don't you take a listen to this?
No, that's not the sound of a juicy piece of steak sizzling on the barbecue.
You ready?
Not really.
That's the sound of millions and millions of maggots chewing their way through a juicy piece of steak out here in Nairobi National Park. Hi, I'm Paula Kahumbu, and I'm here in the Nairobi National
Hi,
Park
Paula.
with Dino Martins, and we're looking at a cow that's died just in the river right on the edge of the
Oh,
national park.
God, this just gets worse.
He's trying to convince me that I really should care much more for the tiny little critters, even if they really stink.
Well, it's not the maggots that stink, but it's
See, sure, it's not the maggots. Let's keep this in perspective.
actually the putrefying tissues of the cow.
Yeah, it's the cow.
Who made a video of a dying or a dead, rotten cow and maggots eating it? What, to just tell everybody the maggots don't smell? Wow, there is a headline.
Hold on, there's 23 more seconds. You need to open your mind, young lady. A young, beautiful woman like yourself has an opportunity
You're
to
not
learn
digging
something
out from
new.
under. It's not going to work.
Look
no.
at you. Should cover me with maggots? You know what? Here's what happened, folks. At the beginning of the show, I made some offhanded joke, because that's what I do. I'm the offhanded joke guy. And then all of a sudden, Sherry's like, ugh, ugh, all sensitive.
Yeah, okay. So you're in a hole. Stop digging.
Or what'll happen?
You'll see.
And the more the maggots feed, actually, there'll be less and less stink. Because what the maggots will do is take the flesh, feed on it, and turn it into fat maggots that turn into flies that turn into food
There
for
we go.
flycatchers and drongos. And basically it means this cow will turn into flycatchers, into drongos, into dragonflies, into all these other things in the ecosystem.
Beautiful, beautiful creatures.
Transforming
Circle of life.
nature.
Yes.
There's nothing
they're a
more encouraging than a fat maggot. They'll turn into fat maggots, which are lovely.
Yeah, then
Right.
they turn into butterflies and stuff like that. It's a circle of life. I think Elton John said it best, Sherry. Yeah, it's essential because then they help create more sort of nutrients for the ground, and then flowers grow, and then they're beautiful
Food for the
flowers, and
birds, food for
that's
everything
right.
else.
I cut the flowers, I make it a beautiful bouquet, and I send it to you. And the note says, "Dear Sherry, these flowers are pale in comparison to your beauty."
But
Rose
these flowers
by any
are
other
not.
name.
The flowers are not going to bloom on the inside of a carry-on bag where there's thousands of maggots. I mean, if those are just the ones that fell out on her head, imagine how many there were in there.
Fair point.